Knowledge is knowing that tomato is classified as a fruit, but wisdom is knowing that it doesn't belong in a fruit salad. Well, you can probably put it in a fruit salad, but it's just going to ruin your taste. This is a quote by Miles Kitten, British journalist, and I was really thinking about how this resonates with us when it comes to knowledge versus wisdom. Knowledge is simply knowing something as a fact, but wisdom is knowing how to accurately apply that knowledge. And as you think about life, you realize that there's so many people who go around, or there's so many of us who think we know something or we have the knowledge. But when it comes to applying that knowledge or applying that wisdom, we fall short. So what is wisdom? Wisdom is simply when knowledge is applied and applied accurately. The fact that something feels right or looks right or tastes right in the short term does not mean that it's going to be right in the long term. The fact that you have an audience with your CEO at the table does not mean that they're your peer and that you should act the fool with them. The fact that you have the title of a leader does not mean that you're automatically going to become a leader. You got to know how to respect people. You got to know how to treat people. You got to know how to apply the leadership principles in order to be able to be successful as a leader. The fact that you have 6 donuts in front of you does not mean you should eat all 6. Well, you can argue that, but you know what I mean. Knowledge in and of itself is good. But if you fail to apply the principles correctly, you may run into some serious problems. The fact that you're the same age with your boss doesn't mean you should talk to them anyhow. The fact that you have the right of way as a driver does not mean that you should not pay attention to the motorists and pedestrians who may be trying to cut in front of you. The fact that you have that job now does not mean you stop developing yourself and adding personal development principles and growth principles to help you become better in the long term. The fact that you have something to say does not mean you should say it. And I talked about this on the 6 Habits of Effective Communicators lesson a few weeks ago. So knowledge is knowing that something is right. Knowledge is having the facts. Knowledge is having the raw data. But wisdom is taking time to know when, to be able to discern when and how to apply that knowledge. So going back to my previous quote, knowledge is knowing that tomato is classified as a fruit. For those of you who thought tomato was a vegetable, now you know. Tomato may be classified as a fruit, but wisdom is in knowing that it doesn't belong in a fruit bowl. Well, some of you may argue that you can include that in a fruit bowl, but acidity can mess it up. So I'm going to set my tomato aside and I'm going to enjoy my food without it. It tastes a whole lot better without a tomato. I can promise you that. Thank you for watching, my friends. And as always, think on these things.